Sky Lounge fam, welcome back to another episode of the Sky Lounge podcast. Listen, we are in for a treat today. Our guest today is an author, an actor, an entrepreneur. He's a husband to one, a father to two. He is a fitness junkie. We're going to learn so much from our guest today. I'm super excited to introduce to you for the first time on the Sky Lounge podcast, Mr. Walric Peddie, everybody. Make some noise. Woo! Let's go, Sir Walric.
Hey, Timmy, thank you for having me. Really an honor to be here.
Pleasure, bro.
Yeah, man.
Pleasure.
Yeah, man. I see
I'm
what
really
you're doing,
excited.
and I'm proud of you. And I definitely want it to really be a part of your growth
Yes.
and development. So
I
glad
appreciate
to be
you,
here.
bro. Yeah, man. It's a privilege.
man.
It's a pleasure. I'm grateful. Thank you for joining us today, bro. You know, listen, as we're filming this, today is what, June 16th. So yesterday was Father's Day. Happy belated Father's Day, sir.
Thank you. And
Yeah, man.
also happy belated Father's Day to you too, because
Thank
this
you,
is your
sir.
first Father's Day, right?
First one.
Yeah,
First
man.
one. I was
Yeah,
at
man.
church yesterday and I could finally stand when them second all the fathers stand.
Oh, so they did the standing
Yeah,
thing.
man.
I had to
man,
stand
bro.
to and
Yes,
collect
man. Yeah, get that
artwork from
action-
my kids. And
Yeah.
yeah, man, it was
love
it's
that,
good.
bro.
I mean, as men and as fathers, boy, you know, we always working. We're always trying to provide. We're always trying to support. And, you know, those days, it means something. I
Oh,
mean,
for
you know,
sure, bro.
you want to see it all the time,
Yeah.
but the acknowledgement does make you feel special, you
Yeah,
know,
man.
because especially when you hear a lot of things about men, you know, men not doing this and men not stepping up and men not supporting women and men are the aggressors or
for
they
sure.
are abusive.
Yeah.
But we have good, upstanding men, Christian men, men who want to make a difference in their home, their workplace, their communities. I mean, these are things that we really need to really lift up. And encouragement is good because, you know, we want to do better.
Yes, sir.
And then you know, so
Yes,
good
sir.
stuff.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir. Well,
yeah.
keep going, bro. Thank you for the great example you've set thus far. Big up all the man them, all the fathers in the chat watching right now. Bless up on yourself. We see you. Keep going. We celebrate you. We honor you. You're so right, bro. In a society like Jamaica, where, you know, some would say it's almost a fatherless society, we really have to celebrate
Yeah.
the fathers who are stepping up,
Yeah.
showing up, present. And by father, I mean even those without quote unquote biological children, but
Yeah.
are fathering people regardless.
Yeah, or mentors,
Yeah,
or
mentors.
supporting or giving good advice. So,
Yeah, man.
you know, I mean,
Playing that role.
yeah,
Yeah, man.
important.
We need more fathers. So we
Yeah.
give thanks for that, bro. We give thanks for that. You know, I introduced you as father, husband, entrepreneur, actor, and author. Bro,
Yeah.
so many things, so
Oh.
many hats. How do you balance it all?
It's funny, you know, a parent at my kid's school was asking me the same things. You know, she heard when I came out with this book and she said, "How you find time to do all of these
Yeah.
things?"
Yeah.
And it's interesting that, you know, I'm finding more time to do these things now
Uh-huh.
because years ago I wanted to do some of these things, but because of what we call like that self-sabotage, you know, I didn't act on it, you know.
Okay.
So yes, I'm a father of two. You know, I have a daughter, an 11-year-old daughter, and I have a 6-year-old son. They go to the same prep school. And I have a wife. A wife and I we also own a business, right? So she's a internist. And but we also have a business that we do not only medical related stuff, but she also does like aesthetic stuff, you know, Botox and fillers and you know, beauty type cosmetic, but things that are non-invasive, you know,
Okay.
micro needling, laser treatment, you know,
Very
so
cool.
various stuff. And we grow in the business together as a husband and wife. We own it. She does the clinical, I do more the operational stuff. But we're learning as we go. I think last month we made 4 years in operation.
Wow.
Right?
Congrats. 4 years.
So 4 years.
Let's
and,
go.
And you know, work in progress.
That's huge, bro. That's huge.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
But you too, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah,
you
yeah,
are,
yeah.
you know,
Similarly.
entrepreneur with your wife
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you grow in your business
yes,
as
sir.
well.
Similarly, I too work with my wife, and similarly, she deals with the food side of things. So
Yeah.
we own and operate Pink Apron. I'm sure most, if not all, people on the Sky Lounge know that.
Yeah.
Which is a three in one food service
Yeah.
business. So we do catering, we do the restaurants, and then
Mm.
we do products manufacturing. So we have sauces.
Oh,
We
you do
do
sauces as
yeah,
well?
yeah, man. So I have a
Wow.
spicy sauce, we have a
Okay.
dressing, we have an all-purpose seasoning,
Mm.
and so three arms of the business that we're actively developing and
Yeah.
growing. As a company, Pink Apron, we celebrate 11 years this year.
Yeah.
And then the restaurant, our first restaurant that we opened, we just celebrated 1 year in
Wow.
May. So we're growing,
Yeah,
and then we
you're
just
growing.
had a baby boy in
Yeah.
October 2024. So he's 8 months right now.
Mhm.
And so we're
Congrats.
figuring this new journey. Thank you, bro. We're figuring out this journey
Yeah.
together, actively involved in church as well. I hear you, and you and your wife are actively involved in church
Yeah,
as well.
so we are actively involved.
yeah.
And I mean, for me it's important, I believe, for husband and wives to work together
Yeah.
in a cohesive, collaborative way.
Yeah.
Especially when especially if we're doing business together,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Because that means that you're making decisions together with the business.
Yep.
You're making decisions at the personal level at home,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're involved in different things, in church, the school with the kids, and other business opportunities and ventures that you're trying to pursue. You're trying to juggle all of these things.
Mhm.
And I mean, listen, I believe, like, as Christians, we were called to create. We're
Yes.
called to create businesses, create opportunities, to open doors, to collaborate, because that's what we're here for. We're not just
Yes,
here to
sir.
just sit down and exist
No.
and not serve any purpose, because we were designed all with a purpose,
Mhm.
all with unique skills and abilities to use them, to
Yes,
grow
sir.
them, to
Yes,
develop
sir.
them, and to use them in a way that is pleasing to God.
Love that.
So, yes, my wife and I, we go to Webster Memorial United Church. We're active. I teach Sunday school, right? I do the young church. My wife is involved at different levels, because I mean, she's on. I know she came off some training the other day where they did a lot of not discipleship, but training in the Bible, different aspects of the Bible. My daughter actually also dances.
Oh, nice.
She's on the praise raisers,
Let's
trying to get my
go.
son involved, but he's sick, so today I'm in, tomorrow I'm out. But we try to, in terms of reflect the qualities that God
sir.
wants us to reflect. I mean, it's life. It's not
Mhm.
easy,
Mhm.
but we are here on earth, and it's not to be easy here.
Yeah.
We're not in heaven.
No.
Things going to be rough. Things
Yeah.
not going to work right. You're going to have challenges.
Of
In the Bible,
course.
it say, we will have
Expect it.
challenges. We're
Mhm.
going to expect them. So, but I think it's important how we work together to resolve them, how we identify them, and how we can do it in a way that is respectful. And
I
I'm
agree.
always learning, because, that's just life. It's,
Yes,
it's,
sir.
it's lifelong
Yes.
learning.
Lifelong learning, and that's what we're all about here on the Sky Lounge Pod. You're already dropping gems. I'm curious because I'd love to get to know you a little bit better, Walric. So,
Right.
so tell me a little bit about yourself. So we know the big three titles that you carry, right? But before you even got to that, tell us about
Wow.
where you grew up, where you born. Are you from Jamaica? Are you born in Kingston? You come from country? Like, tell
Yeah,
us
man.
about yourself.
So, well, I am from Kingston, born
Okay.
and raised in Jamaica.
Born and raised in Jamaica.
Only child.
Okay, only
right?
child.
Born on Labor Day.
Really?
Child of, my father, my mother,
Mhm.
middle class working parents. Went to Calabar High School.
Whoa,
Yes,
Rebel
I
Black.
cherish the
Let's
green and
go.
black.
Let's go.
Yeah, man. So, so over the years, I mean, and I said to people, I had a great high school, great university life. I
Mhm.
met good people. And
Mhm.
I think because my personality is generally one that I tend to always want to meet people and engage them,
Yeah.
and to crack a joke,
Yeah.
and, to make people feel comfortable, and also to encourage and empower people. So that has always been me.
Wow.
It's funny with the whole acting thing, is because most recently I remember a friend of mine from high school said to me, "Hey, Walric, back in high school you were always acting, and
Really?
acting like Martin, and doing this stuff,
Right.
and I never thought about it, but back in the day that was one of my favorite shows, like Martin,
Yeah.
and New York Undercover was this detective New
Yes.
York drama, and then Seinfeld. So I
Yeah.
always had an interest in film in high school.
Interesting.
So,
Okay. Got you. So you are a Calabar man. You used to the trucks at any point?
I trained for the track team one time,
Yeah.
well, a couple times,
Yeah.
but that
Never quite.
wasn't for me, man. That wasn't for me. I did a little everything. I
Understood.
did basketball
Yeah.
and track. I was
Okay.
always somebody who was very into sports,
Okay.
but I didn't play it like, on the team, but I'd be playing
Got you.
everything:
Yeah,
cricket,
you're
football,
active
basketball,
nonetheless. Yeah.
table tennis, tennis.
Very cool.
And I think to this day, I've taken that into, my adulthood and where I am now, because I did martial arts. I did Kung Fu for a couple of years.
Wow.
Um, Dislocated my shoulder in the process.
Jeez,
but
ouch.
after physio for about a year or so,
Mhm.
it came back around.
Mhm.
But now I'm into more like, strength training,
Yes,
right?
sir.
And you and I work out at the same
Yeah,
gym as
yo,
well
it's
with the
so
same
funny. We
trainer.
found out that the other day that we both go to the same gym. Big up Unity,
Yeah.
personal training and fitness
Yeah, man.
studio.
Have
Big
to
up
big up
Kenny
Kenny
Hill,
Hill, man.
Weight Terminator,
Yeah, man.
biggest
Yeah,
baddest.
man.
He's been on the podcast as well,
Yeah,
giving us
man.
his
Yeah, man.
story.
Good guy, man.
Yeah, man. Awesome guy. Proud of you, bro. Got in a great
Yeah, man.
workout this morning. But yeah,
Yeah,
man. So you're
yeah.
active. I love that. I love that. So now tell me, because I really want to dive into this book that you launched, right?
Mhm.
You're an author. What's the name of your book, by the way?
So the book is called Compass: Understanding Your Purpose and Fueling Your Passion.
Fantastic. Did you always want to be an author?
Oh, that story is so interesting
Yeah.
because years ago I felt there was a calling on me to write a book.
Okay.
But like many of us, you have this feeling to do it, and there is this in what do you call it now? This inability to act, or this unwillingness to act, because you said to yourself, well, I've never written a book before. Who am I to write a book?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think I
almost
was
logical.
carrying that for years. Who would read my book? Why am I going? I'm not a subject matter expert. Why am I going to write a book? So I had that in the back of my mind, and that prevented me from really moving forward. But I always felt on my heart that I had a story to tell. And it's funny that last year was the year that, my wife, she was on a Zoom call with a friend of hers, because she has a YouTube channel called Kamika's Heavenly Journey.
Okay.
It's a Christian YouTube channel.
Mhm.
And we were talking to someone about managing our social media, a friend of hers from high school. And in the middle of the Zoom call, he takes up 2 books, and he was saying to my wife, hey, why you don't write 2 books?
Yeah.
Look here, you can write a book, man. That's the next step. And in that conversation on Zoom, as if I heard a voice say, Walric, the time is now. And I remember saying to her, I said, all right, I'm going to excuse me from the conversation to, and told her friend, hey, thanks, for, it was great meeting him and so, because the first time I already connected.
Yeah.
And I left that conversation straight to my laptop. I just started to type.
That's insane.
And it's as if, the first paragraph, like opening, was in my head.
Jeez.
And I just started, I said, I thought about it, and I wanted to bring it to here and know what's going on in the world. And I just started to write. And each day, like when I couldn't write anymore, I stopped, write down some notes on my phone, pick up the next day. Any break I got. Sometimes the feeling was so overwhelming that I traveled with the laptop that I had to type.
Oh my gosh.
No, I'm typing. I don't know nothing about what I'm doing next.
But you're just typing out these thoughts.
Yeah, and then but I'm actually typing it in a structure, typing it how I want it to flow.
Understood.
My background was a lot in writing, because I did like history, major, political science.
Oh, wow.
And,
Right, wow.
masters, I did international relations. I was always doing a lot of qualitative type stuff.
Okay.
And I put writing, And it was, I wrote, and then I started to go to YouTube, what is required? What is required for a Christian book? How many pages I need? What's the dimensions? What is the best size for that people feel comfortable reading? And we have AI now, and AI was saying that this is the size and this, and it pulling all of that data, and I said, okay. So I wrote that. All right. What next?
What next?
So I started to check locally about persons who would help me to what they call self-publish.
Okay.
Where I'm not going through the traditional publishing. With the traditional publishing, they undertake all the costs. They love your manuscripts. You send it to them, they will do everything. The editing, the edits, the revision, the cover design, all of those things. And at the end of the day, you do like, when it's out there, they do the distribution as well, right? But those types of traditional book publishers, they work with well-established authors. Not saying they wouldn't work with new people, and a lot of them have like an agent.
Okay.
All right. So I am Walric Peddie.
Yeah.
The only Walric Peddie in the world, but that don't matter.
Yeah.
So I went through the self-publishing route, and then I was hearing some prices in the US that when I converted it to Jamaican, I was like, oh. So I started off with somebody here, and I had a consultation session with them. And she gave me some good tips and she told me what the cost would be and to distribute it. But for me, I wanted to see if I could go global or go bigger, because the first book, I wanted different people, So I started to research that and, I came across a lady who she helped with self-publishing. But after the conversation, the cost again was prohibitive, right? But out of that conversation with her, I received an email about Trilogy Publishing.
Right.
And when I researched Trilogy Publishing, Trilogy was the subsidiary of the TV station TBN.
Jeez.
I think it's the Turner Broadcasting Network,
Yes,
right?
sir. TV. I grew up on that
And
station.
because all of that, you have all, the TD Jakes
Yeah,
and
man.
you have,
Yeah,
all of
man.
these,
Joel, everybody.
good, inspirational, Joel Osteen and all of these. Yeah, man. And Joyce Mayer and all
Yeah,
of that.
man.
And so I emailed them and say, hey, I have a manuscript, what's the process and this. And a guy reached out, I don't remember, like a rep or, and he said, okay, hi, Walric, my name is Noah. And then I said, wow, Noah. I said, that's the name of my son, right?
Wow.
so,
Wow.
so I sent him the
Boom.
manuscript. And after 2 days, I got a call. Well, I got a call initially and I had to pull over on the side of the road because he started to ask me questions about it and stuff. And then I sent him the manuscript and he said, hey, Walric, we love what you have and we're going to work with you. There's a cost element involved, but I tell you, I got the support from friends and families just to help me to get where I needed to be.
Yeah.
To get it off the ground.
Let's go.
And it was actually officially released last month.
Really?
May 6th.
What?
So it's now in Barnes and Nobles, Amazon, I think Walmart.
Let's go.
In different, I've seen it in a language. I had to call a friend that I know in Germany and I said, hey, is this German? He said, no, it's Dutch.
Wow.
So I said, Dutch?
Wow.
Yeah, so I saw the book
global,
in different,
bro.
and I was like, wow. And then,
Go.
I was obedient.
Yes.
I did what I was to do.
Yes.
I don't know where it's going to go from here, but again,
bro.
I did my part.
Yes.
God will do the rest.
The sky's the limit, bro.
So that
I can't
was.
wait to get my copy.
Yeah, man. So I'm trying to order some because it's still fresh ordering some from the publisher to come here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. When I get in, I'll give you a copy
I need
as
a
well.
signed copy, bro.
Yeah, man. I'll give you a copy.
Yeah, man. That's amazing. Okay. That story alone, so much we can learn from that. One, as you said, obedience, right? What's so crazy about that story is you say your friend was talking to your wife. Not even to you.
But,
And she said, write 2 books. And he just got it in his spirit. And he said, all right, cool. Excuse me. It was great to be here.
It was so, I tell you, it was so clear. It's the strangest thing.
And I'm sure we all have those moments sometimes, it's like when we actually hear the spirit or, that voice say, do it, whatever it is. And it's in that moment we can choose to obey or disobey. And I'm grateful that you chose to obey.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. The next thing, you say, you know what? I'm not going to limit myself to Jamaica. And nothing is wrong with Jamaica, but I completely get the view. And I think we as Jamaicans need to think like this. We can't limit ourselves to just all that we can see. We need to, tap into the limitless potential, like expansion, exponential potential, all of that stuff. And you said, you know what? Let me take this not just locally, but internationally. Let's go globally. And that's really my vision and hope for the Sky Lounge podcast as well. That we will tap into not just the local market, but the global market. Because I'm excited for the future. I do believe the best is yet to come. So I love that. And then what's the other thing I'm taking from this? The persistence, bro. You heard figures in your head, and easily someone would have heard that and
you get discouraged, right? And you don't say, oh, yeah.
You know what? It's all right. This not work out for me. Well, push. But you kept going, bro. And look at you from concept to the actual book. Literally available across the world. That's insane.
I think it's an accomplishment when somebody can complete a book because
of course
it's not easy.
Oh please. Oh come on, man. That's huge.
And then you get the book out now and then you want people to get eyes on it.
Yeah.
And listen, let me tell you something. So when God puts something on your heart, we can either ignore it. We can either say, okay, God, all right, I'm going to be obedient. Because if you really check it out and you look on some of the biblical leaders you have, when you look at people like, let us say Moses. Moses wasn't a speaker. Moses, I think at some point I read that he had like a slur
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
and he was saying like, you're going to send me to Pharaoh, who's likely to kill me, to tell him to bring this news to him. And God is saying like, listen, I'm going to give you what you need.
Yeah. Go.
Trust him. And that is the thing about faith, it's like when you're trusting in really something that you can't really see,
Doesn't make sense.
but you have
logically.
to trust because God is God.
Absolutely.
Right?
Sir.
So
absolutely.
we can be obedient and we can get, and sometimes he is using that situation to test you, to shape you,
Yeah.
right? To prepare you for something bigger that is coming.
Yes, sir.
So when you say, oh boy, I can't bother, or I don't think I have what it takes.
Yeah.
You say, saying, boy, you say I ask you to trust me and I want you to trust me. So I think that is a part of the whole learning for me as well.
100%.
To trust God. Because if we rely on our own understanding and interpretation, sometimes we don't move.
Can't do it, bro.
I mean, years ago, I had a friend, I said to him, hey, let us start the martial arts, Kung Fu. Yeah, man, I'm going to start with you, man. And I'm waiting to get people to help me to start something that was not part of his purpose or his God's plan for him. God wanted me to start the thing.
Yeah.
And when I call him, don't show. And I just went ahead and started. And that was a couple years of doing it. Same thing with the gym. You start the week. Oh, no. So there are paths. God sometimes puts you on a path and on a journey to fulfill something for you. It's not about me. Maybe our paths will cross. And maybe I'm here to say, hey, Timmy, continue on that. Because he'll put those helpers in your path, But it's not about everybody else.
No.
It's about your journey and your growth and who you're going to impact and what he wants you to do.
Yes, sir.
And to do it in a way that's pleasing to him. He's not doing it for us, we're doing it for him.
Yeah, man.
And I think that is where, in the book I speak about that where what I was chasing and where God wanted me to go.
Jeez.
And that resulted in crisis, which I describe in the book.
Yeah. Wow. Amazing, man. So I love that. And what I'd add to that is, ultimately what we're speaking about really starts with a relationship with the Lord, So it's from that relationship that we're able to tap into the guidance, into the instruction, and then we're obedient to that. But it starts with a relationship.
It starts with the relationship, and it also starts because it's funny. Growing up, like a lot of young men, I was chasing what the world had to offer.
Yes, sir.
I'm watching hip hop videos. I'm watching this. I want to be like that guy. I want to live this lifestyle. I want to be toasting glasses. You want this good life.
Yes, man.
My friend, I said to him the other day, I was writing the book. There's a car that a friend of mine father used to drive. It was like a BMW 3 Series.
Jeez.
It was like a 19. I went to college 19. I went in the 80s. So it was like a 19. When I went to 1989, I went to Calabar. But the father, when I was in third form in the early 90s, he drove in this nice 3 Series BMW, And I said, for my saw that car, my dream was to aspire to have a BMW. I even wrote down on a paper, by age 30, I want to be driving this. And those are the things that I'm chasing. So I'm living my life chasing and aspiring for the material,
Yeah.
And if somebody asks me about God, I say, listen, when I reach old, we can deal with the religion thing. Assuming I'm going to have all of these years, I'm going so I was way wrong.
Yeah, man.
And in the book, I spoke about how I was, I remember my first job, I ran to the Swiss store to buy a Swiss watch. I buy all of these telescope. What I want to tell is all of these things. And where that led me.
Yeah.
I ended up at a job that it wasn't working out. I was there for a couple of years. It was challenging my health. And I wasn't happy.
Really?
Because I felt like I was working to make this money. And, eventually I said, you know what, I was going to go.
You went to the store, bought this watch, telescope, all these things.
Yeah. So the example I'm giving is like, here I'm just buying the material, thinking about car, thinking about jewelry, thinking about all the things that will
Material
make me look
things.
as if I am on the path to success.
Yes.
The material. God wasn't in. I went to church.
Mhm.
Went to growing up. My mother sent me to Sunday school and all of these things. But in my head, the goal was to get those things.
Yeah, man. Achieve these things,
But
and I'm there.
right. But in searching and hunting and focus being on those things now. So my focus is not on God. My focus is on the material.
Yeah.
So by the time I left this job and it wasn't working out, and I decided that, you know what, I'm going to resign.
Mm.
Okay, resign. Here am I have a first degree, I have my master's. I'm a good guy. I treat people good. In my mind, I'm a nice guy, right? So I must can find another job. Right?
Right.
And I
Right.
have a good work ethic.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
show
You
up,
have
I
your
get
track
what is done.
record.
And
Right. And you have
so,
your degrees, everything.
yeah.
So yeah.
Left the job, sending out applications month one,
Mhm.
nothing. All right, no panic. I was renting in Havendale at the time. Single guy renting in Havendale. I had this Honda card that by the time I left, the AC compressor went bad, and that was over
Jeez.
$100 and some $1,000. Couldn't afford that. Okay.
Wind down that window.
All right. Paying rent.
Yeah.
Month two.
Yeah.
Okay. So I had to panic now because all the persons that I knew from my previous jobs are, people who were networking with.
Yeah.
People, say, hey, you call them, hey, looking for a job, any availability? The response, oh, that's unfortunate. Wish you all the best.
Oh God.
So the perceived friends that I thought I had.
Right.
And those days I was carrying grudges. So I went
Oh.
on Facebook and started to unfriend people, my list started calling people. And that's like saying, these are the people I used to help out get tickets to, and
Yeah, man.
all of the VIP treatment. And I said, wow. Then panic started to sign. I said, no, because by the end of month two, phone cut off.
Oh my gosh.
Right? Okay. Bank called me. Hey, Mr. Peddie, you have a credit card here. We see that you haven't paid anything in the last month. Not working. That was my response. Then get a call from another bank. Hey, you have this unsecured loan for
Oh
$1
my
million. When we expect, so I went into the bank manager before explaining the situation to her, and I remember she was working with me.
Yeah.
But somehow from that head office, they saw my name on a paper and they send me these letters. If you don't pay by this month, we're going to sue you.
Mercy.
I started thinking no. So now I don't have any phone. No, still trying to send out applications. No, for almost 1 year, I could not get a job.
Whoa.
I leaned up against the wall of my room because my father had given me on loan this laptop with a big screen, a heavy laptop. Never forgot the laptop. And I was connecting to a neighbor's Wi-Fi.
Oh my gosh.
To send out job applications.
Oh my gosh.
No, I can get the car now. Can't insure the car.
Oh my gosh.
So crisis now, All right, so I had to walk from Havendale to my mother's house.
Jesus.
To get lunch.
Oh my gosh.
And I used the opportunity to jog down, and she would drive me back. So no, rent no, backing up.
Yeah.
Because I was, had some savings and I was paying piece. The thing is like 10, you're paying 5,
Right.
and thinking that will, but no. So the landlady at the time, she was very nice and stuff. She was migrating, right? And she said, well, look at that. They weren't pressuring me because her mother was a friend of my mother. But for me as a man, now I can't pay my rent. And now I start to, so 2 banks calling me. Don't have no cable. Then courts calling me.
Oh my gosh.
For a sofa set.
Yeah.
And I saying, geez, sofa set is $6,000 a month,
Oh my God.
And I'm like saying, okay, crisis, can't get no job now.
Jesus.
And you know what one of the 2 things that God is calling me, still not going there,
Yeah.
relying on my own
on your
understanding,
own
my own ability. I'll
Mhm.
get it, man. Keep sending out. Just keep sending out applications. So I remember I knew this friend, and at the time, and she was working with this company off Spanish Town Road, a big company. And she said, hey, Walric, come to my office, bring your resume and stuff, and we're going to see where, what can happen. She was in HR. I said, yes, God. So I thanking God, not coming to him, but I said,
just a thank you.
Put on a suit,
Yes.
put myself together,
Yeah.
borrow my mother's car. She had this car called Una Fiat,
Yeah.
drive it down Spanish Town Road, never have no AC, you know. So drive down there quick, you know.
Yes, man.
Reach to the security gate. Hi, I'm Walric Peddie. I'm here to see, you know, the person, you know.
Yeah.
Security guard looks on his list and go like this. I don't see your name on the list, you know.
Jesus.
All right, him say, you know what, you know, pull over right there and let me try and get the person. Call. Nobody picking up. So I take out my phone now in the car, calling. Nobody picking up.
Oh my
So
God.
that's all right. Probably she in a meeting or something.
Yeah.
So I wait there. Half an hour, 1 hour, hour and a half.
Jesus.
Try her back, nobody. So eventually that time I'm sweating now in the car.
Oh gosh,
you know.
man. No AC.
Hey, it talk about broken.
Oh God.
The glimmer of hope, you know.
Yes, man.
And I drive home to my mother and I give her the car and she dropped me home.
Oh my
and she said,
gosh.
boy. A day later, about 2 days later, person called me laughing. Oh, you know, I forgot, you know, haha, you know. And she laughing, you know.
That's even no.
The way I couldn't even respond. I was like, you know, emotionless, and I just said, okay. And I just hung up the phone after that and delete.
Oh my God.
And that's it. And I remember now, you know, so that happened. And then almost the straw before the final straw.
Yeah.
Got a call from courts.
Oh my.
Hi, Mr. Peddie. We see that you came in today and you paid, let us say it was $1,000.
Yeah.
You need to go back and pay $70 more. I said, $70? Him say, yeah, man, you need to go and pay $70. I said, I couldn't understand. Somebody
$70.
called me to say for the sofa set that I need to pay $70. I tell you, shortly after that, my birthday came and I just broke down.
Oh gosh, man.
Age 30.
30.
When I mean, I sit down and I call my mother on my birthday and I said to my mother, hey, I needed to come here. And my mother came.
Jeez.
And I said the words, what did I do to deserve this?
Jesus.
And I say, you know, treat people good.
Yeah.
You know, you try to be kind.
Yeah.
And, you know, I later discovered kindness don't get you to heaven. Because even the criminal is kind to who choose to be kind
of course,
too.
Yeah, man. Everybody's a good person.
And I
And
want to come,
clean
hey,
heart. Yeah, man.
it's a big man ball.
Oh my gosh.
Mother said, come back to church.
That's what your mom said.
Mother said, come back to church, you know, to Webster. So she was going to Webster. I went there as a child, I stopped. And I went, you know, so I said, all right, I'm going to go back to church. And decided to go back to church once and then going back. Sooner or later, I went into discipleship training.
Wow.
And started going back, became a member of the church. I became a Christian. Going back, things just started to happen.
Yeah.
One. So the crisis happened in phases. Phone cut off, bank, this, you know,
over
losing
like a year.
Phase 1 after becoming a Christian. No, life of a Christian is not smooth sailing. It's it's rough.
For sure.
Right? Because you are now accountable and you recognize that accountability being in God, right? So, level 1. Landlord change. Get a new landlord. Hi, I'm your new landlord. I say, hi, how are you doing? Oh, I see here you're behind. My name is Pastor. He was Pastor Davis at the time. I can't remember. Really nice guy, he and his wife. I'm going to work with you, man. Don't worry about it, man. Cool? All right. 2, a guy from the bank called me, one of the banks. Hi, is this Walric Peddie? Hey, I see here you're behind with this. So the same bank that was sending me the letter said they were suing me.
Yeah.
Them say, I said this guy called me. I'm going to work with you, man. Tell me his name. We're going to work to help you to clear it off.
Wow.
So, okay. As I, you know, so all right, cool. 3, a project. So I worked in international development for a couple of years, right? So I managed programs in the Caribbean in different sectors, in health, in climate change, in different sectors, right? And so that was later on, but you know that was one of my more recent roles, right? Before I went into entrepreneurship, right? And I got a project. It was a UN funded project, and that happened right. So my crisis started like February. When I left that job, I got that interview about December the 12th.
Wow.
So all of that span, you know.
Yeah, man, and then end of the year.
And end of the year
Jeez.
to start the beginning of the next year.
Yeah.
And I got the interview and I was like saying, and I remember a godfather of mine was saying, like, listen, in the process of rebuilding, him say, a phone, that's a luxury. Stop trying to get those things, get the focus. Sofa set, carry that back to courts. You hardly even use the thing. Call them, got a truck, went to Contant Spring. The lady said, why are you taking this back? You only owe like $6,000 on it. But I said to her, hey, your guy's calling me for miss payment. And they said, oh, you're not working so long and you look, so well put together. Because I always tried to make sure that I didn't dress like how I felt.
Yeah.
Always tried to look, cut my hair and groom myself properly, right? And she said, I'm going to write you an indemnity so that it doesn't affect you in the future.
Thank you.
So all of these things started to kind of happen. And ultimately, I found my wife at the same church.
No way.
Saw this girl sitting on the bench one day in the pew and decided to walk over and start introduce myself. And so
thank you, Lord.
It shows, that God wanted me to come to him.
Yes.
Not to seek the material, but to seek him first.
Yes, sir. Seek
him and he'll give you what you need.
Seek ye first.
Yeah, right? So when I'm seeking the things that because people don't understand, like, listen, here on earth, this is the devil's domain, right?
Yes, sir.
The prince of darkness can give you anything you want. Because it's funny, right after, I think in the Bible where John the Baptist had declare that Jesus, after he had baptized Jesus and all that, being the Son of God.
Right.
It was a couple of days, or if not the next day after that, the devil was trying to tempt Jesus.
Temptation,
and say, listen, I can give you all of this.
Anything you want.
So the world has a way of trying to drown out the spiritual, trying to drown out God by the ads and the cars and the clothes and the TVs. Bro. And it's not to say that, listen, God don't want us to live good lives, be wealthy or to be successful, because we see wealthy people. We see people like Job. We see people like Solomon.
Yeah, man.
But he's recognizing that your aspirations, you have to come to him with it, because he's going to say either yes, no, not yet, not at all. Right? So because he is God and he can see things that we can't see.
So good.
So it's important that, listen, no matter how small or big or small what the thing is.
Yeah.
You say, hey, God, I'm trying to lose 10 pounds. I'm struggling. I need the help. Just give me some. You'd be surprised. Someday somebody may walk into your life. Somebody may say, hey, come join me at this gym. Or there may be something there. And then and at the same time, too, we need to take accountability. Because sometimes we all know we eating, we're not supposed to eat.
Oh, for sure.
So we can go do the wrong thing and then cry foul and then go to God and say, hey, why is this not happening?
Yeah.
I remember this girl came to a gym that I used to work at and she said to the trainer, I want to lose 20 pounds by the end of the month. I'm not going to give up my Chinese food and I'm not going to give up my beer. And the trainer
but I want to lose
it to bro. He said, I can't help you with what you want. And she was really upset.
Yeah.
Because she thought he was being a roadblock, but he said, if I take your money, I can't help you to deliver.
I can't help you.
So we need to take that responsibility, accountability and responsibility for our own actions.
Sir. Yes, sir.
So I think for me, in the book where I spoke about the chasing the material, then the memoir I spoke about the crisis, then I spoke about finding God. And you know what happened to me in that crisis, that I asked this question. What is my purpose? I asked the question, God, what is my purpose? And when I researched it, I was the only Walric Peddie. I'm the only Walric Peddie in the world.
Wow.
I said, why you create me to just exist? And it was out of that need to find out my purpose why I recognized that it was important to see God in knowing, what are your talents? You may know them. How can you develop these talents? Because he give you these talents and abilities not to keep to yourself, but to use them, So how can I build these talents? How can I grow them? How can I use them in ways that are pleasing to him? So when I started to search for that answer, then a lot of things were revealed to me, right? And for a lot of us, if we decide that we are seeking answers, not all the time is really about asking a friend, or, it's good to talk to your friend and you get some counseling. But spiritual counsel is important Because and sometimes, even our parents may have the best interests. My parents said, "Hey, you're good at talking, you're good at history, you're good at these things, but I don't the law."
Mm-hmm.
I worked in a law firm, and I never like it.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be in a field where I could engage with people.
Yeah.
So the law wasn't for me, though the intention was good enough because they want you to
and it
be
makes
good
sense
and
for
they
them to
want
stress
you
it, yeah.
to be good and they want you to be able to, as any parent want for the child, they want you to do well and be successful
For
or whatever
sure.
you do.
For sure.
But God's purpose for me wasn't that path. And the thing is that when we try to do it on our own, when we try to accelerate a process, we can deny a benefit that God has for us. So we are trying to accelerate and God is saying, wait.
Yeah, man.
Just wait. And we are saying, no, man, we want it. No, we want self-gratification. We want, because the world tell you, you need it now.
No.
Back in the day, you order Amazon package, 2 weeks.
Yeah, man.
Then everybody said, no, 1 week.
Yeah, man.
Then no, 2 days.
Yeah, man.
Then no, 1 day.
Yeah, man.
So, we want it now.
Yes, sir.
But we have to be mindful that God is not a genie. Like, I'm going to say, hey, I need this now, and it's going to happen. It's about building our character.
Yes,
it's
sir.
not necessarily about our comfort.
It's a process.
So in the process of going through the fire where you're being shaped, when you go through the process, you arrive at the promise.
Yes, sir.
So
I love that.
So for me, the journey wasn't about finding your purpose. Is really not me going, and it's not a destination, because God will use it at different times in your life, different seasons to do different things. Right now, you're doing this, He may take you and say, all right, I want you to take it to another level. But your purpose is really a journey.
Yes, sir.
And it's a journey of learning.
Yes, sir.
And a journey of doing things that are honorable and pleasing to Him. And once you check that the focus is moving from Him to the material, then you realize, hold on, who am I really serving?
Yeah.
Right? Because gods can form themselves, can appear in different ways. It could be
for sure.
obsession with clothing, with shoes, with food, with things.
Yeah, man, woman.
Technology,
money.
women,
Yeah.
and all of these things. And it can't distract you.
Absolutely.
And that's exactly what the enemy wants. He wants to distract you, because when him distract you, him having a place, or he wants to discourage you. Why am I going to apply for a promotion? I'm not going to get it anyway. Why am I going to bother apply? You see that kind of learned helplessness and that type of belief system? Why am I going to try because I've already failed? And God has created us to really be persons who can move forward with confidence, knowing that, He's the one that is going to guide our way through. So in the book, we speak about the material and the crisis. I also speak about the fact that we need to give back. That cheerful giver. And I love receiving gifts, but I feel better when I can give.
Yeah, man.
About giving back. We speak about being aware. Being aware that you're in a world where there's a lot of distractions, a lot of things out there to pull you away from God, a lot of arguments and a lot of, discussions that question the validity of God and this and all. And we want to put God in a box. We want to throw Him out. We want to use Him when it's convenient. So we have to be mindful of our environment. We have to be mindful of the friends that we keep. Because when you walk a certain path in life, the reality is that you're going to have to lose friends. You have to remove yourself from environments that are going to take you into a space where it's just not a God.
Not conducive.
So the book goes through a lot of these things as it relates to my life, but also give some tools, some resources, some scriptures to also help people to kind of reflect on and to ask that question. And then as we build our wealth, as we grow, what we're doing with it, how we can do it. Because generational wealth is important, and building these things are important, but how we can do it in a way that is pleasing to Him. Right?
Yes,
so
sir.
yeah.
Man, I love it. I'm so excited. I can't wait to get my copy of the book now. Dude, This is good. This is good stuff. I mean, it's crazy because you don't look like you past 30. You don't look like they over 30. I
Hey,
mean, go
our
through
birthday
so
was
much.
like 2 weeks ago,
Yeah,
you know.
happy belated, bro.
Yeah.
Listen, you don't look like 30 at all, bro. And I
Yeah.
mean, to hear all that you've gone through, I'm 31 right now, and I'm just thinking, like,
Yes. Yeah.
wow.
So I'm like,
Wow.
I'm like, what, 10 years older than you? So
Amazing.
yeah. No, more.
Amazing.
I'm like, what? Because I'm at 47 now.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 Bro, you look amazing, dude.
Man,
You
boy,
look
thank you.
fantastic.
But
God,
that's the
God has been
exercise,
good
you
to
know,
you.
and
Fitness.
and my wife have me on a certain regimen, you know,
Let's
because my
go.
wife knows she you know she looks young and because
Yeah.
in aesthetics.
Yes, man.
But let me tell you something. So when you have I mean, I just digress a bit, but
Yeah,
when you
man.
have a wife that is a woman of faith,
Yeah, man.
because my wife is very calm,
Mm-hmm.
very pleasant.
She don't stress you out.
Only me stress her out. You know? Because I am very organized and structured, and
Yeah,
you know,
man.
I'm that person. But
Yeah,
she's
man.
calm. You know,
Yeah,
she's
man.
here. She do
Cool.
her
She work with the
devotion. She
program.
get up. She'll smile and
Yeah.
talk to people, and you know, and I'm saying, hey, we need to move now, and she, you know, let's do this now.
It's
But
he that
yeah.
finds a wife, bro. He
Yeah,
that finds a wife finds a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So it's very important, and I'm gonna tell you, you know, I am learning all the time because you know, as you know, as a husband and you're working together in a relationship and stuff. Yeah, sometimes you may have a disagreement on how this go or that go, and even within the home. But it's important that you recognize, you know, because you recognize what you did, and you see the value in forgiveness. Because forgiveness is never about you or me. It's really about, but it's never about the person.
Yeah, it's
It's
never
really
about them.
about
Yeah.
us and our relationship.
It's not for you, it's for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good.
So yeah. So it's
That's
like
amazing, bro.
yeah. So I mean, you know,
Absolutely amazing.
so God willing, you know, the book does well. It have some, you know, some stuff that I think, you know, people laugh as well. I have a friend in Japan who's in Japan now, and she sent me a voice message say, hey, you know, I just read this part of your book, and it made her reflect on her current life. No, and she said, you know, and she was laughing, and then she was sad, and but optimistic, you know. So it play on all of those different emotions, and for me, you know, wow, you know, I just was surprised. I said, boy, thank you, because you don't know how people gonna receive it. You know, but
you're not sure how it's gonna land, but that's not on you. Your job was to put it out, get it out, and put it in people's hands, and it's there, and then the rest is on God.
Yeah,
the rest is
you
on
don't
God,
know.
bro. So for us in Jamaica, where can we find the book, or how can we get the book?
Well, now right now, persons have to order it on Amazon,
Okay,
right,
Amazon,
and have
thank
it
God for
delivered here,
Amazon.
right?
Okay.
Unless I have an arrangement here to have it in the bookstores here,
Okay.
but because everything is still fresh,
Of course.
I'm not there because you know I've just ordered my copies. I'm going to order my copies, so you know I haven't even.
Okay,
you know,
but Amazon.
So yeah.
For now.
So Amazon right now, there's an Amazon link, Barnes and Nobles if people prefer that, you know, medium.
Great
But
stuff.
Amazon is easy. I had somebody here ordered it and they got it like,
man.
you know, they ordered it now and they got it like by the end of the week. Or,
Yeah, man.
but
thank God for tech.
yeah. So
great.
yeah. So in that book, I really speak to about even the acting journey, where it started, how I ended up getting into that space.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about that. How did you get into acting?
Well, it's funny. I remember a couple years ago, probably was in my early or probably 20, you know. So I always had a passion for film, right? I'd watch film and I'd watch how the characters talk, how they move, how their facial expressions were. And I used to watch it deeply, you know, all the mannerisms, you know, and I said, wow, you know, I always like that natural conversational, like, you know, so I always was into film. I remember one day being in a pharmacy and a lady came up to me and she said, have you ever thought about being on TV?
That's crazy.
And I said, yeah, you know. And she gave me her number. And I remember, oh man, I can't remember her name, but that led me to an episode in Royal Palm Estate. Right? The one episode in Royal Estate, and that episode, boy, I had to run. I mean, I saw, like, I was fishing, and I can't remember that scene. I saw, like, a dead body, and I went to report it to the police station, but when I went back, the body wasn't there, and I remember the police was chasing me. It was flat. So I said, wow. Then I think later down I started to do some commercials, you know. But then more recently, as in a couple years ago, I connected with KBC Casting. So, you know, Kareen, the owner of KBC Casting, you know, Kareen is casting director, excellent at what she does. I signed up with them, you know, I started to get some jobs, started to get a couple commercials. And I remember one day I was saying to Kareen, boy, you know, I'd really love to do more film. Because now, you know, over the years now, I've reached a stage now where I'm going to embrace it. And I said to her, you know, I wanted to do more film. And she would send projects to me, or, you know, I'd put it on her Instagram page, which is KBC Casting. And I casted for this role as a policeman, you know, and never known what the project was. And then it turned out that the project was this Oprah Winfrey production called Black Cake.
Yes,
That's
sir.
on Hulu.
That's big.
And I was like, yeah, well, yeah, I've
That's
never done
huge.
anything that
Yeah.
big. So for me, you know, I know there are actors out there, and Jamaica has a range of wonderful people out there with talented people. I'm seeing talent at a level that I'm like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I got this opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Casted for it, I got it. I came in probably about 2 or 3 episodes as this policeman. And, you know, I said, wow, and I, you know, had the opportunity of even meeting Oprah virtually, because we did a Zoom table read and with people in different geographical locations. And I met some good friends as well, some good people as well. And then, you know, since that, then I completed a project earlier this year, another film. Right, you know, I can't speak much about that yet. And then I did another project, an episode in another UK series. And most recently I casted for something else.
Nice.
So, and I did a short film with I think you know JP
Yeah, man.
Williams.
Yeah,
That
man.
did BLV, a
Yeah.
short film that's doing very well for
Come
JP.
on.
So I
Yeah.
played the father of the boy in that film. And JP is going places, man.
Yeah, man.
Very
Big up
talented
yourself,
guy.
JP. I'm trying to get him on the podcast. Hopefully he sees this and he'll come join
Yeah,
us in
yeah,
the
man.
next
And
one.
I'll message him too, man.
Yeah, man.
So like, so in life it's funny, you know. So God put the right people in your
Yes,
path
sir.
when you commit your plans
Yeah.
to Him.
Yeah.
And you know what is funny? Years before this episode, before the opportunity with the film,
Mm-hmm.
when I was in that crisis stage and I decided to commit my life to God, I did a vision board.
Mm.
On the vision board, and I'm going to show you the picture of it after, because
Yeah,
I
man.
can't find actual paper, but I always took
Yeah.
a picture. I taken a picture of it, right? On the vision board, I have these images. I have a church, the cross. I have a house. I have wellness business. I have a clapperboard, which is that black and white board I used in the film. And I think I had a picture of money on it, you know, some US dollars, right? God delivered on the wellness business. So we have Camric Medical Care and Aesthetics. So delivered on that. The clapperboard, the acting, God delivered on that. The faith, the church, gave my life to Him. That was, yeah.
And still
The
walking
house,
that out.
where we live in now, we actually had bought that place probably about, 5 years ago or
Glory
so,
to
where we are.
God.
So I
Come
wanted a
on.
home.
Come on.
And then, you know, the US dollars, yeah, you know, you're
Building.
you're building. Yeah, you know, so,
Yeah.
so,
Oh gosh.
yeah, so, you know, the important thing is that, is where I'm going?
I see where you're going, bro. Commit it to Him.
And
Give it
I'm
to Him.
still not where I want to be.
Seek ye first.
So
But-
this life, you're still moving, you
Yeah,
know.
man.
I'm still not where I want to be, but
Yeah.
be happy in our circumstances, right? So
absolutely,
as we wait, as we plan,
Yeah.
what is important is that persons seek God, understand their talents and abilities, work on them. Even in the downtime, find ways to build those skills. You're running a business, maybe let somebody mentor you. You want to do acting, all right? You know, watch YouTube videos on other actors. Find a casting agent. If there are opportunities to get any coaching, get coaching. I mean, these are things we do as we prepare. I listened to I think it was Samuel L. Jackson. I think he was discovered in his 40s. I think Pulp Fiction. I was watching an interview with Morgan Freeman, and he was saying like, It was not until in his 40s that his career really
Took off.
took off.
My gosh.
So don't put time,
Yeah,
don't feel
man.
that, the world is telling that you need to be a millionaire
Yeah,
at
man.
age 20
Oh, for
or
sure.
25. Don't get caught in that trap.
Yeah. Yeah.
Take your time, give it to God, trust the process, trust his steps. Don't try accelerate, don't try and rush it, because we can deny that blessing that he has lined up for you that's there waiting. But he just wants you to prepare, because when you get it, you need to know what to do with it. You have to be ready. And that is usually the assignment, because even when you think about persons like Joshua in the Bible, after Moses died, God has pivoted right to Joshua.
Yeah.
He
So
said,
you're
Moses,
up.
my servant, is dead.
Yeah.
That's how
Time
him
for mourning
started.
is over.
Wasn't grieving or,
Yeah.
Moses, my servant, is dead.
Yes, sir.
Moses took everybody to a point, but
Yep.
not to the promised land.
No.
Joshua is the one that got
Joshua,
the
you're
work
up.
done.
Yep.
And when I did some research on Joshua, and I said, hold on, Joshua defeated I think over 13 kings. It was a lot of kings and a lot of battles. And he was obedient to the T.
Yeah, man. That's a key element.
And I
Obedience.
was like, wow. I mean, most of his life was really fighting to get to what he needed to do.
Yeah.
And we are fighting now, but we're fighting a different type of battle. We're fighting a spiritual battle. We're fighting a battle in preserving who we are in Christ. And as you walk as a Christian man, there's a level of wisdom that we have to seek from God in doing what we do.
Yes,
because
sir.
wisdom is not hearing the information alone. Wisdom is hearing it and doing it. Hearing what to do and not doing it is not being obedient, and it's not wise.
Correct.
So we have to make sure that we operate in a way that is pleasing, and we're not perfect, because yes, we will do things or say things at times that may be not pleasing to God, or may not be said or done in a way that is pleasing, but we need to seek forgiveness, and we need to recognize that what we did was not pleasing to him, and we do what we need to do. Right? And there are people in our lives that we may have to part ways from, not because they're bad or anything like that, but it's just their priorities may not align with ours. Right? And that's just the reality. That's just the reality of this walk with God. All right. So for me, I mean, those are some of the lessons that I've learned.
Absolutely amazing.
And I'd love to, I want to share them with others through the book.
Yeah.
And I still work in progress, because I raising young kids, sometimes I'm like,
figuring it out.
Yeah.
But I'm right behind you.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but this is how we need to do. So, and I think it's just important for us as for men, young men, older men, mentors, but men, that we need to operate at a level of with care, with respect, especially for women, and also offer that guidance to other men, to support. Because it's so funny. Oftentimes women will find a group and them sit down and they can talk and they think there. But men, we and especially black men too, or Caribbean men, we're trying to deal with it here.
Yeah.
We're trying to deal with it, and we need the help. We need to talk to somebody. And we're just in a corner holding it, and we're being this tough guy. And we're just hurting ourselves internally, sometimes even health-wise.
Yeah, we need each other, bro.
We need each other. We need to support each other.
Yeah, man.
And we need to have that fellowship group of men that we can say, hey,
community.
Who I can, that community that we can pull from when we need to.
Yes, sir. 100%. 100%. Wow. Walric, jeez, I wouldn't even scratch the surface, bro. Thank you so much for the gems shared today. Thank you for the encouragement. Guys, get the book, Compass, Unlocking.
So Compass, understanding your purpose.
Understanding your purpose.
And fueling your passion.
And fueling your passion.
Amazon.
Available on Amazon. If you're in the States, you can go to Barnes and Nobles.
Yeah, you can order. Anywhere in the world, you can order.
It's available every and anywhere. Let's go. Super excited for you, bro. I truly do believe the best is still yet to come for you. You haven't seen anything yet. Your best days are still in front of you. And I'm super excited to see what God will do through you, with you, and even through this book. Guys, get the book. Walric, thank you so much
Man,
for
thank you for
joining us
having me.
today. I'm super excited. I can't wait to get my signed copy from the one
Yeah.
I know, the Walric
Yeah, man.
Peddie, everybody. Thank you so much, guys. As always, stay tuned to the Sky Launch Pod for all our episodes. We are lifelong learners over here. We had such an amazing conversation with the one and only Walric Peddie, author, actor, entrepreneur, family man, fitness guru. Listen, he's everything in it all. We're so grateful. Thank you for spending time with us today, bro. This was one for the books, bro. First ever we get to host an actor on the Sky Launch Pod, and I'm just so excited for you, bro. I'm grateful for the relationship that's starting here, and I look forward to what comes out of this.
Yeah, man. We're going to see some big things happening for you and for me, man.
Let's go.
Yeah, man.
Let's
God's
go,
willing.
bro. Let's go. Thank you so much, my brother.
Cool.
Respect. Respect.